The last thing this country needs is another opportunity to get wasted. And that's what people are doing, all right? We drink on the Super Bowl, we drink on Christmas, and people are drinking on this Juneteenth. And yeah, all across the country, pub crawls, yeah, Juneteenth bar crawl. Let's drink up to honor what happened in Texas all those years ago. You know, again, this country, we have major addiction problems all over the place. Yet another opportunity to drink or get high? No, because if you put this stuff together, especially in urban areas where the Juneteenth celebrations have been the most intense, you got alcohol plus guns plus time on your hands plus weed plus heat and the overall resentment of the system. What's that gonna result in? Any guesses?
Greg Kelly of Newsmax is a raging racist. If he's just playing one on TV, he's still a raging racist because that's what he gets paid to do. He's talking about Juneteenth that just happened Sunday, but also the federal holiday was recognized on Monday. And of course, he has to talk about how black folks are drinking too much. No, I'm sorry, not drinking too much. Weed too much, or violence too much, especially in urban areas, he says. So that last clip that he played of people running away, because black folks are violent, is actually people scattering from a free music festival in DC on Sunday when a gunman opened fire on the scene there. Because black folks running is good fodder for talking about how horrific and stupid and drunk and high and violent black folks are. Can we harken back to just a few minutes ago when we talked about Eric Greitens saying he's gonna shoot and bag and body a bunch of rhinos. And then after that he gets, Adam Kinzinger gets threatening death threats from folks who said, I'm gonna kill you, your wife, and your newborn son. Oh yeah, those violent black folks. Oh, my bad. Greg Kelly's actually onto something. Let's go to some that headline from that particular moment in DC, because the reward is being offered in DC over that mass shooting that killed a 15-year-old boy. His name was Chase, and 3 others were hurt. So I wonder what Greg Kelly has to say to the family of Chase, who was murdered on that scene. Was he high? Was he drunk? Or was he there enjoying his life? And then you're using him for hateful, bigoted fire. Just want to remind you guys of who it is that people watch and listen to and form their opinions around. So that gunman is still at large. We don't know their race, motivation, or even if they were drinking. Crazy how that works. But Greg Kelly somehow can make these assumptions. It's interesting also that this is the one time the Newsmax cares about a mass shooting. And of course they care about it in order to flip it and act like these violent Negroes need to stop doing what they're doing. Let's keep it real, because he'll go there if he needs to. Sure. Hey, let's talk about some drinking that happens, because we have this problem with drinking in the country, especially in urban areas. How about this? See all those black folks in that predominantly black city of Boulder, Colorado. Last St. Patrick's Day, that holiday when we celebrate black folks. Anyway, that party turned into a riot of college kids. Crazy how that works. Those police officers reported being struck with rocks and bricks also during that altercation. Maybe they were drinking and smoking in urban areas when this happened.
10 o'clock Friday night, hundreds of white nationalists storming the University of Virginia, protesting plans to remove a statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee. The overnight violence spilling into this morning when marchgoers and counter-protesters clash again, hours before the Unite to Right march was even set to begin. Just after 10:30 a.m., the crowd growing in size. Local and state police in riot gear responding in force, but the violence.
Black folks with that Unite the Right rally that they were all at in Charlottesville. How about this one? We can do this all day. One more.
Officials say that Peyton Gendron, a white 18-year-old man, was wearing body armor and military-style clothing when he pulled up yesterday at the Tops Friendly Market and began shooting. He picked that spot specifically for its demographics, according to officials. They say he drove for more than 200 miles away to carry out the attack in an area that had a significant black population.
Was he high? Was he drunk? Oh, he was in a black area, but for the reason of murdering black people, Greg. Greg Kelly needs to apologize. He needs to apologize to anyone, whoever wrote that, the fact that he read it, and that he thinks it's something that should pass as any kind of political discourse in this country right now. Because you know what we're talking about on Juneteenth? Some people did have a problem with the way Juneteenth has become so marketed and turned into pub crawls and all those types of things to bring some sort of celebration to it, which actually surrounds drinking. This is what was happening in our country that people that listen to Greg Kelly don't want their kids to learn about. This is a real bill of sale from the time of slavery in this country. You know that thing that we don't like to say happened here? Because black folks are violent, they drink, and they get high all the time. This bill says Negroes for sale. I'm gonna read this whole damn thing. By public auction on Thursday, on the 12th of April, 1848. Prime and healthy at O'Donnell's auction house. 25 field hands trained at hoeing, chopping, thrashing, baling, plowing, peaceful lot. No troublemakers, strong, can work in the heat all day long. 10 boys being taught to drive wagons and fetch, quick learners. 18 women, 8 with future insurance, all house trained, clean cooking, ironing, making beds. 6 girls, calmly, quiet, buttoning out, not headstrong, manageable. 1 female, superior cook and excellent seamstress, also for sale at 1 o'clock. Plow horses, cows, hogs. 1 prime bull, 5 head of goats, 2 wagons. This was all being sold at a public auction in the United States of America in April of 1848. We talked about Juneteenth as that was the official end of this whole thing, which actually wasn't. And Greg Kelly's response to the entire thing after Juneteenth is to talk about how black folks were shot up, and then also say that they drink too much, they get high, and they're violent. And this is disgusting to him. I think he needs to learn a few lessons.
Yeah, white people, white slave owners did that sober for 200 years and eyes wide open, enslaved other human beings and subjugated them. And we are still reeling from the impacts, and you can see that in Greg Kelly's disgusting 100%. Racist equation, proving that while it might just be symbolic, this is why we need Juneteenth. So these MFers can fall into these traps and be like, oh, tell me how you really feel. Oh, that's what we thought. That's what we thought. You're gonna create this stupid ass equation, which by the way, notice how the only thing that triggered him, it wasn't an event. Jayar, you just proved a bunch of predominantly white riots. He had no proof that anything that happened on Juneteenth led to any kind of violence, but the idea of a pub crawl triggered him. And then he went and conflated that with a real instance of, I'm sorry, what was the equation that led to the uprisings of 2020? Was it impunity plus power plus military weaponry? Plus dehumanizing of black Americans continued that led to the murder of George Floyd and then a massive uprising and on and on and on. I'm pretty sure that's the equation that we should all be concerned about, not the heat and weed and your skin color. But it's like, every time you think you make progress, you got a Greg Kelly in your face with some BS like this. And it reads, I don't know. It's like a propaganda machine of 100%. Hey, alien just landed to Earth. Here's how to be racist. Oh, you're gonna be a white alien? Yeah. Here's what we're gonna do. Right? And you're like,
these guys.
Yeah.
This perpetuates the continual stereotypes. This is what stereotypes lead to things like the reasons why we need prison reform and why we have sentencing issues in the country. Because again, if you listen to Greg Kelly, white folks don't smoke weed. White folks apparently don't drink, and apparently white folks aren't violent. When again, I gave you all those instances of direct drinking, and we know white folks smoke tons of weed. I know a lot of them. I went to this really prestigious university that's majority white. I know a lot of weed smokers that went to USC, tons of them. So let's stop with the BS and the lies, but that's what the point is. And they poison society with this. It's been that way since the beginning, and we continue on this same road, and they go, I don't understand why you guys keep bringing up race. You brought up race constantly in that entire thing to not talk about the movements and the progress we've had, but to talk about how much you still hate black folks. Congratulations. I expect an effing apology.